Hello everybody, my name is Wilder, and Pioneers of Olive Town has finally gotten a pretty huge update that fixes quite a few things that the community has been upset about. This update is now live for Japan, and the North American update should be right around the corner, according to a lot of bigger articles, so expect an update on Xseed on this really soon, any day now. But since the update is out in Japan now, and it addresses quite a few things that I talked about in my review, specifically things I was not happy about, I wanted to go through the patch notes with all of you and see what changed, and how Olive Town is looking so far. Because remember, the DLC from the expansion pass is still coming out, and with how much went wrong with the game at launch, either with the lack of quality of life features or problems with performance, it's been confirmed that this won't be the last update we get for the game that addresses multiple issues like this. But anyway, let's get right into these patch notes, starting with the first thing on the list, and that is some of the Olive Town residents' dialogue has actually been changed. And there's also been extra dialogue added on top of that as well. This is such a good change right off the bat. Olive Town needed this so badly. I talked about it in my review, but talking to my wife right after we got married and having her say the same dialogue she said on like the second day we ever met, it was just really bad. So I'm glad they're changing existing dialogue. But I'm also really hyped about the fact that they're adding in new dialogue on top of that as well. The characters in this game, specifically the marriage candidates, did not have enough unique day-to-day dialogue to them, and it was really a shame. It took so much away from the overall experience, so the fact that this is being addressed is awesome. Next on the list though is a huge one, and that has to do with the makers. One of the biggest problems when it comes to Olive Town. So each maker will now be able to create up to 10 of the same item at one time. And you don't have to wait for all of them to be ready either. You can take out items as soon as they're done, and even add more materials to the maker while it's still processing. I think this is perfect. Not only are we finally able to stack materials, but you can adjust the items inside whenever you want without stopping the process. I mean, this is honestly how the makers should have been when the game shipped, and there's no reason the game should have launched with the makers the way they were. I mean, there really isn't, because it was just horrible, it was awful. This is how it should have been from the start. This sounds so much better, and I personally can't wait to go and finally clean up my farm. I can't wait to toss most of my makers now that I don't need 1,000 of one maker. How many of you are excited to clean up your farm a little as well? I love this change, I think it's great. Very needed for the game. Anyway, moving on, we have a little funny one here that I like. Apparently the visuals while eating in cutscenes have been improved. I take it they're talking about the restaurant scene that everyone was confused by at first. I remember sitting down in the restaurant for the first time on stream. I ordered like a pizza or something, and on the table was a bunch of stuff. There was a whole fish, a salad, some bread, some soup, and it didn't matter what you decided to order, it would always show those things. So, looks like they're finally deciding to fix this, and it'll now show your character eating what you actually ordered, which is a cool little plus. It's also kind of funny to me though, I don't know. Anyway, next up is a big one for me. They brought back Strafing. You are now able to lock your movement in a straight line to help you do your farm work better. If you hold down the L or R buttons while moving, your movement will be locked to only 4 directions while facing the same way. I am so happy with this one. Strafe or die has been a meme on my streams for a while now, and not being able to strafe in Olive Town made a lot of the tasks more difficult than they needed to be, especially stuff like watering crops. This is another mechanic that just had no reason not to be in the game from the start, so it's nice to see that it's added here after all this time. Next is cooking times. They've been adjusted. It doesn't say anything more than that. Can you imagine if they made cooking times longer? It just says adjusted. Anyway, I assume the cooking times are a little more reasonable now. I know quite a few people didn't like how much time it took to cook multiple things. It would definitely put a wrench in your day and time management. Even though with how big your farm is in Olive Town and how much work you do overall, cooking was really useful for stamina, so again, good change. Next is something they actually removed. You no longer need to press the A button when moving from indoor areas to outdoor areas. Not exactly sure why this was changed. Also, I don't know why it's only one way. Kind of confusing to me, but hey, that's one less button press, right, I guess? I'll take it. Anyway, here's one of my favorite updates on the list. When you're talking to a marriage candidate, you can now see their friendship level on screen as you're talking to them. It'll show a heart next to their name, and the heart will fill up the more your friendship with them increases. I am extremely happy with this change as well. The ability to see your friendship level with the marriage candidates on screen while you talk to them has become a well-known staple for the series, and I was really sad to see that it wasn't in Olive Town. With the removal of both the visual friendship meter and the 2D character portraits, the dialogue boxes in this game were so bland looking and boring. It's really nice to finally get something to add to it, even if it's just a little bit. I'm sad they didn't really do anything too special with it. I would have loved something to liven up the entire dialogue box. Something like what Tale of Two Towns did. Anyone remember that? Where the flowers would like hang down the box and would open and change color the more you became friends with them? I love when they get creative like that. I'll take the heart though, don't get me wrong, it's better than not having it at all in my opinion. I'll take it, I'm really happy about this. Next though, it says that the effect when giving a gift to someone multiple times a day, or proposing or confessing to them multiple times in a day, has changed. I don't exactly know what this means, the patch notes don't go into it any more than this, but I know that we were never able to give multiple gifts to the same person in the past. It would just kind of come up with a message saying you hit your daily limit if you tried to give them another, so maybe they'll let you now? But maybe it won't really do anything? I'm not exactly sure about this one. I've also never tried to propose to someone who wouldn't say yes, so I'm not actually sure about that either. Let me know what you think about this one, or if you know anything about it, let me know that as well. And last but certainly not least, this update ends by fixing some of the stuttering throughout the game, which Olive Town severely needed. Actually, between me and you, I think it could use a little more than just a stutter fix, if I'm being honest. Hopefully this will help with some performance issues on areas of your farm where the game really shouldn't be struggling though. For this one, we'll have to check it out ourselves on our individual farms, just to see how much it was fixed. Hopefully it's really noticeable. But with that, we're done. That's all the patch notes for the big update that came out to Olive Town. Remember, this update is out for Japan right now, and North America should be just around the corner, so keep an eye out. Overall though, I think there are quite a few necessary changes in here, a lot of stuff that should have been in the game from the start, and while it isn't fair that they rushed the game and we had to wait for stuff like this, that again, the game really should have launched with, it's honestly better late than never. Plus, on top of this update, Marvelous has said that they intend to keep updating the game and fixing more than what we saw here, which is also great to hear. I'm really interested to see what this game looks like at the end of all this. The big question now though is for the people who put off starting Olive Town until they fixed it. Does this update make you want to start the game when it comes to North America? Is this enough to start, or are you still waiting for more? And for those of you who have already played Olive Town, what do you think about these changes compared to the previous version of the game? Let me know in the comments down below, because that's going to be it from me today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.